Today's show topic is, who's the baby's daddy? Did you know he was married?
Married?
Is he a dog?
I mean, she need to stay with him.
What a perspective.
That baby metrosexual. He got Beijing in the head, man. That ain't me.
You can't talk about a baby. At the service for the kid Raven, the 5-year-old that was shot. Also, we're praying for the 17-year-old who shot her, because really we may lose 2 kids.
I just hope she alive.
I grew up here, and it's just getting worse and worse every day with the drug dealing and the guns and everything else. They need to do something about it.
Yes, actually, I'm the CEO of Swag Nation. It's a youth advocate association.
I'm so sick of crying. I'm devastated because I lost my house. I'm sick of all this, boy. All I want to do is get away, get away.
So tell me, Alexa, what bothers you and irritates you in schools?
Well, sometimes a lot of girls think they're better than you, and when you're fussing with them, they'll consider you as white or a cracker. And I really hate being discriminated like that because I know the color of my skin, and that should not matter to nobody.
People been calling me black. They be saying I blend into the dark, the pavement.
The young people wearing the pants down past the butt, showing the underwear. How do you feel about that?
Don't show what you don't have.
David Simon wrote a story based on Bodie's life.
Why? It's extremely entertaining. I enjoy myself.
Okay.
You know, and I'm the real guy, right?
We respect your life and your stories, and we know that you're going to be one of the greatest directors. What is life like being gay?
I was always secure with myself. Never had a problem with getting along with other people. Certain people that don't know me tend to get a little irritated when they see me come around.
It's a shame to say that some church leaders aren't the upstanding citizens that we believe that they are. If you could find a professional, a teacher, a counselor, if you need to talk to somebody before you talk to your parents.
Actually came out with the closet after Ellen came out.
Exactly.
Please don't think, that everybody that's gay wants you. It's never that serious.
Thank you.
One of the things that made me turn to God, recently my son was killed.
And I think there's a fear that exists between
and
those
it
generations
should-
that shouldn't be there. Like the gentleman said, just because I come in and I have locks, and I'm refined. Don't get me wrong. I drink wine and smoke the finest cigars. Like I never smoke a marijuana blunt in my life. But you would never be able to tell that if you never just took the time to just approach the cat.
I was building my own kingdom, right? And I met that crack cocaine, and in 7 years I lost everything. And I thank God for that, because those events allowed me to hit my proverbial rock bottom. And had I not hit that rock bottom with nowhere else to turn, I would have never met the one who could help me.
I disrespect my wife. I was committing adultery for the last 8 years. 6-pack, 42-inch chest, 18-inch arms, and 36 thighs.
Sound like me. Well, go ahead.
What this book offers is testimony and triumph. And God has to bring you sometimes in a place of brokenness. Yes. Brokenness, so you can realize that God has a way of getting our attention.
I am bisexual.
Wow. Did Mom know this?
No, but she knows now. Hi, Mom.
Mom?
But
the state of Maryland has conspired with Constellation Energy and BG&E to rip off working people.
But despite what anybody say, I will always be there for him. All right. That's a man. I love him. That's a man.
Is this man and woman relationship? You are not a man?
No.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
This is a mind blower.
I'm probably bisexual. I don't know.
Now you say you don't know. Do you date guys?
What? Yeah.
And do you date girls?
No. No, I haven't.
Well, so you're confused.
No, my parents want me to be a lesbian.
Your parents want you to be lesbian?
Yeah.
That's a new one. Why?
Yeah, I know. They're like, then you won't have children, so that's good.
Pigtown John Watch is a website where we put pictures of the vehicles and or the tag numbers of the vehicles that pick up the prostitutes.
Being the lowest man on a totem pole is just should be an expression to use to help you strive to move forward and higher in your life.
Hey, welcome to It's On Talk Show, and today's show topic is violence against the transgender community. We're very happy here today. I have some wonderful guests here today, and I want to let them introduce themselves, and you are?
I'm the director and founder of Trans United. My name is Sandy Rawls.
My name is Ayon Jenkins. I'm a volunteer here at Trans United, and I'm a college student.
All right.
I'm Deja. I'm a friend of Sandy's and work with her on occasion.
Okay, and you are?
I'm Donna Plamondon, and a volunteer with Trans United and Sandy.
All right, so you've met the wonderful guests I have here today. And again, the community saw the beating of Chrissy Polis at the McDonald's. It's a very sad situation that happened there, and certainly we would not want this to happen again to anyone. We want the community at large to respect one another. Everyone is different. So we're here today to discuss. These are fine ladies from the transgender community, and today you will get some education from them because they are quite upset as to what has happened, and having information that this goes on or has gone on at so many times. Transgender people have been killed. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, they
So we want to help the community because we don't want no one to be beaten up, because in this situation, nobody's winning. The McDonald's is not winning. The person that was fired from McDonald's is not winning. The police who was beaten is certainly not winning. And the young lady who's now in prison is not winning. It's a no-win situation. So how can we help the community, Sandy?
Well, we can help the community by trying to understand, well, the community at large can help the transgender community by trying to understand the trans community and accepting the trans community, not tolerating, but accepting the trans community. And one way to do that is to get educated about what you're trying to accept, so you know what you're accepting.
Yes, please educate the people.
Yes, and we're going to do that today. That's
All
our
right.
intentions today. So I guess, co-hosting with you, I'm going to start off with
Absolutely.
a couple of questions so these young ladies can answer them and educate the public about who they are and, why they have to be who they are. And some of the issues that we face as transsexual, transgender individuals in our society. So let's start off with, I get the question a lot from a lot of media and different people talking about this issue, the issue that happened in McDonald's. So I guess I'm going to ask you all this question. Do you all think that this will spark a positive dialogue between the at-large society and the transgender community?
What do you think, Asia?
I think actually it already has kind of started a dialogue. It's brought attention to the trans community. It's brought attention to the fact that a human being was beaten to the point where she had a seizure simply for being who she is. This is not something, I am who I am. I was born this way, and nobody can tell me any different. There's now scientific proof to back that up. If people would just Google the word transgender, Google the word transsexual, look it up. You're on your computers for everything else. Look it up. They have the scientific facts now that says, it's in the brain. It's who we are. It's down to our core. It's not something we wake up one day and decide we want to play in women's clothing. Who in the world would wake up one day and decide that you want to be ridiculed and put yourself in danger every day that you walk outside your door? Who would want to, not take the chance of not being able to get a job because you're transgender? Right. Or which bathroom you have to go to because you're afraid you're going to get arrested, or, as Chrissy did, get beat up.
Yes.
It's just, so this is definitely opening a dialogue. It brings us here to your show.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you.
This has brought the transgender community as a whole into the spotlight.
Right.
And hopefully we can use this to our advantage and turn it into something good.
All right.
So what's your opinions on that, Aaron? What's your opinions on the issue? Do you think it's gonna? Do you think things are gonna get better? Do you think that this incident sparked a dialogue in the community?
I think it can get better if we use this incident to rally not only the transgender people together, but to rally our allies and supporters together. Because I think that this incident showed that there are people that see us as a legitimate group of people, that we do have rights and they want the best for us. And this is in the community and this is outside of the community. So I think now we should use this as this exposure to just bring light to our unique issues and problems, because before this, people didn't think we had unique issues or problems, or people didn't see us as a legitimate group of group of people.
And you know, that's very important you said that, because these are human beings. You all have mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers and families. You all are our friends. You go to school with us, church. So we as a straight community have to accept and understand that people are different. As Deja said, she was born this way. It's a mindset that she has. Not I, and maybe not you, but you cannot change a person's mind. We all have to respect human beings. Go ahead.
That's right. Well, I just wanted to say,
Sure.
some of us are mothers and fathers.
Is that right?
And some of us are sisters and brothers. Even though we have sisters and brothers, but we are somebody's, sister.
That's
you know,
right.
sitting up here. But and speaking about the transgender community in general, we're talking about, people are somebody's son and daughter, brothers and
right.
sisters, or aunts and uncle. Okay, Donna, what do you think about the incident that happened? Do you think it's going to spark a larger positive conversation in the community?
Oh, it absolutely has already. It has solidified and woke up a lot of the transsexual, transgender community as it is. Too long we've let the gay lesbian community speak for us. And I think this has really been a catalyst to help us find our own voice, to speak for ourselves. We have to speak for ourselves. We can't let other people speak for us. We have to take it upon ourselves to go out into the world and educate our legislators and our faith communities and our neighbors. We have to go out there and do it ourselves. We have to prove to them, we have to show them that we can be, and we are and have been responsible members of society. We are out there every day. We're waitresses. We're waiting on you. We're driving your buses.
Doctors, lawyers, scientists.
We are your
scholars.
scientists. We're your computer scientists. We're computer programmers. We're air traffic controllers. We're on and on. We are in your lives every day. And yes, we are parents too.
That's right.
We have children.
So, and not to cut you off or anything, but as I said at the rally, we are educators, and your neighbor
Right.
may be trans.
That's right.
And you never know, because they may be stealth. Okay, they may be someone who's passing.
What do you mean by stealth?
Stealth means an individual that's easier to fit in the opposite sex in which they were born. So if I may be passing, to some people, and some people I may not be.
And passing
but to
is?
most people I am.
And passing
is, someone able to fit. I'm able to fit in the pink circle, so
Right.
to speak.
In other words,
Okay,
like
people would not know
they
by
just
looking
assume
at
you're a
me
lady
physically, yeah.
without any.
Well, they don't
any
have
question.
to assume. They should
Well,
know,
you should know,
that
yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
lady. So by looking at me anyway, but they don't know that I was born, with male genitalia. So, that's the stealth thing. People just look at you; they can't tell.
Right, right.
Which is a oxymoron in itself, because when you look at somebody, you really can't tell. There are a lot of masculine men and a lot of masculine women, and a lot of feminine guys,
Right, right.
who are fully genetic of the sex that they were born in.
Yeah, and you see that all the time. I've seen people. I just wondered, but again, I still respect those people because they're human beings. Yeah.
So how do we get the education piece out there, though? I mean, I'm going to ask this question: what type of education piece do you all think we should have? I mean, should it come from the government? Should it come from the state, city? Should it come from the community? Where should the education piece
Or the
lie?
churches?
Or the churches? Right, exactly. Educating people about everybody about who transgender people are. Well, how do y'all feel about that?
Yes. Where would you start?
I think first and foremost, it has to come from us. How can we expect the government or the church or anybody to educate somebody? You can't educate someone about who I am.
Right.
I have to educate you about who I am. The church still doesn't understand it. The government still doesn't understand it. So how can we possibly rely on them to teach you about a subject that they have no knowledge of? So it has to start with us. So you know, some of these places, the government needs to open up their doors and allow girls like us to come in and speak with their officials, to speak with their police, to speak with the senators, with the congressmen, with the representatives, and let them sit down on a one-on-one conversation and realize I'm a human being just like you.
You know, with you saying that, I'm looking at, there's a bill, HP 235 for public accommodations, and even just yesterday, the governor had a press release that now they're going to be opening doors and hearing you also. I know, saying that you have a great deal of influence with the government here in Maryland, so now is the time to really get to Annapolis and let them know that you all deserve public accommodations so that you all will not be discriminated against.
Right. Just to respond to that, we've been working down in Annapolis, Trans United. The members have been going down there testifying since 2-3 years now.
And
going 3-4 years now, and going down and testifying about the House Bill. Well, it was House Bill 235 last session. It won't be House Bill 235 next session because it gets a new number.
Okay.
Once they add public accommodations back in, but we're working. All of the community organizations and civil rights organizations are working to put the public accommodation back in the bill. The problem is the bathroom. This is the reason why this even happened at McDonald's.
Well, yeah, that's
because it was the
interesting.
restroom. And we have to be a community who can come up with some type of clauses within public accommodation, because I can tell you now, it flew through the House simply because the way it did, the numbers were just off the charts, the passing numbers anyway. So the bill went through the House and just flew through the House, through the front window, right on out the back door, you know. And I think it was the reason why I did that is because the bathroom issue was out of the way. But if you put public accommodations in, and you have a situation where you can be served at a restaurant, be served at a clinic, be served at a hotel.
Right.
You have a right to talk about the bathroom issue. But when you take all of the public accommodations out, you don't have a leg to stand on to even talk to somebody about the issue. So that's just my point of view about public accommodations being in the bill. And I would like to know your opinion about public accommodations being in the bill too as well.
It boils down real simple. Everybody who's watching, take a look at me. What am I going to look like walking into the men's room? Or when I'm in Macy's trying on one of my outfits, I have to walk into the men's dressing room. Now, which is going to cause more of a disturbance? Me walking into the ladies' room or me walking into the men's room?
The men's room.
So, I mean, it's real simple. Do I look like, you know what I mean, I belong in the men's room?
No.
It's just, people need to understand, again, I reiterate, this is who we are at our core. It's in our makeup. It's in our hormones. Everyone is born with male and female hormones.
Right.
That's where it starts at. Our hormones are way more female than men's. So we are females, mind, body, and soul. At some point, as you get older, you change your body a little bit to match your mind. That's all it is. And then you hear these people. One woman, I was watching some of the blogs about the Chrissy Polis story. One woman said, well, all I know is if I would have seen them come in the bathroom, I would have tried to stop her too, because what if they were coming in there to rape me or something? First of all, you can be raped in any bathroom, any subway, any parking garage. It happens all the time. And please look up the statistics on child abuse, rape, that kind of stuff, and point out to me how many of those have been perpetrated by a transgender person. Please stop using that as an excuse.
Well, you see, people don't know that, and this is why this show is so important, to educate people, because it is because it's like. But it was a man. It's still a man. You know, physically, it was a man. So people's like, she had no business in there. But again, but Chrissy Polis has the mind of a woman. But see, this is the education that needs to be put out here into the world so people will understand.
But Chrissy Polis is legally a woman. Chrissy Polis had SRS surgery. So
Really?
she has sexual reassignment surgery. Yes, so she is a woman. Okay,
Wow.
she wants everybody to know that too.
Okay.
Just let everybody know that.
Chrissy Polis is a woman.
Yeah,
Got
she's
it.
a woman. She's legally a woman. Once her birth certificate is signed female because she had SRS sex, she's legally a woman. And not only that, people who don't get SRS surgery, they are women too. Because now their body matches their mind. Three-dimensional anatomically functioning, we are women. Okay, and so therefore, we bring our body in, like Daisha was saying, we bring our body in alignment with our mind and our thoughts. So, you know, this woman didn't deserve the beat down when they thought she was a man.
Right,
because she was born a man. And, you know, I'm not going to get into how it all started, but because I don't really want to get in that.
She was born a woman with male genitalia.
Yeah, she was born a woman with male genitalia. So, you know, we
at birth.
Is that right?
Well, that's interesting, but in all reality, that doesn't make up for the fact, people see what they see. They don't know whether you have an ovary or, a vagina or a penis or whatever it is you have down there. It's about the way you look.
Right.
And people have to get over that. Like I said earlier, back in the 1950s, no offense, but racism was a big thing, but it was all because of the color of your skin versus the color of another skin. It's the same thing happening now. It's based on what you look like. It's simply based on, okay, I look at you, you look different than me, you don't necessarily look like you belong in the body that you're in. So I'm going to beat you up, or I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to harass you, or talk down to you. It's still another form of racism.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask Aeon, did she want to reiterate on that about, I forgot what the question was. Public accommodation. Yeah.
Well, everybody said what I was kind of thinking, but the only thing that I'm gonna add is that if we're gonna do the bill again this time, we should just do it with public accommodations and not play with it in order to all the underhanded things that goes on in politics. We should do it for the good of it, and not just to pass it just to benefit somebody else and leave somebody else out, with no protections at all.
Because it really is the poor people. My concern is this: when you can't pass a bill that is going to leave out the poor, all right? Because there's the poor people. This is the reason why you pass civil rights legislation to protect those who are impacted by disparities, okay, public disparities and civil disparities. So a lot of people in the demographics here in Baltimore City who happen to be just African American individuals and some Latino individuals, people of color, who face these disparities simply because of discrimination. So when you pass a bill that doesn't allow those disparities to lift off of those individuals so they can come out of the cracks of the system and get access to the system for basic resources, then you're not really passing a civil rights law, you're passing a political law. And that's exactly what that bill was. It was a political law. It was a political bill, political legislation. Donna, how do you feel about the public accommodation out of the bill?
I can't accept any kind of legislation that does not include public accommodations. And a lot of people don't understand public accommodations isn't just about bathrooms. Public accommodations is absolutely everything to do with everything that, other than just your job or in your home, it's everything that you do once you step outside that door. It's your education, it's your transportation, it's everything. It's your medical care. It's access to all of that. It's not just about bathrooms. Leaving public accommodations out, the far right still brought the bathroom issue. It was still called the bathroom bill, any way you looked at it. We need, the American Medical Association and the American Psychological Association both recognize transsexuality as being a medical issue. It is, they support the full recognition of our acquired gender, of the gender of our identity, and medical access to that care. The federal government even recognizes our identity on our passports. The government of Iran has recognized transsexuality as a medical issue for 30 years.
So in Iran, as I understand it, that you can get SRS surgery, but you can't be gay.
Yes.
You can't be gay there, but you can be a transsexual woman there in Iran. Is that right? Yeah, you can get SRS surgery in Iran.
Gender reassignment
but you can't be
surgery
gay in Iran. So I'm like,
in even Iran's healthcare, public healthcare.
And I'm not praising that because gay people should have rights just as well as trans people there. But I'm just we're just making the distinction between the fact that how legitimized we are today, but yet still not accepted. So we are a legitimized group of people, but we're not accepted by society because of these stigmas. And when people are not educated, not to cut you off, John, when people are not educated, what they're going to run to is stigma.
Right.
We run to rumors right away and stereotypes right away when we don't know anything about somebody. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that has to take its, take its toll. It has to take its place, and the only way to do it is educate people.
Right. I want to say, as sad as the situation is, I'm almost kind of glad it happened because a lot of people didn't and was not aware of the transgender community, but this has certainly brought light to the transgender community, and it's now an opportunity, yeah, especially in Maryland, yeah, because we didn't understand, didn't know of the sexuality there. So now we all, gender identity, excuse me, they're helping me here. But it's very important because I just don't want what happened to happen again. And you know, I mean, let's face it, it happened at McDonald's, but it could have been in any mall, any airport. So, you know, I mean, of course, McDonald's don't have McBathrooms where it's singular, but maybe in public accommodation, maybe they should go to a singular bathroom where you go and you lock the door.
A unisex bathroom.
Yeah, unisex bathroom, yeah. And that way, that would avert some problems like that. How do you feel about that?
Well, let me let them answer.
Go ahead.
I think they should have unisex bathrooms, but if somebody that's trans is passing that might not want to get clot, they should still have the right to, because we don't want to get a unisex bathroom and then we have people, well, you can only go into the unisex bathroom, you can't go into the women bathroom or the female, you have to go. We don't want, because then that create some types of discrimination.
With unisex bathrooms,
we would eliminate
the male and the female
bathroom and just make it one bathroom.
One bathroom.
Oh,
okay, all right.
I'd like to see that happen though, with what they're already trying to use as an excuse to keep us from getting the public accommodations. All the what happens if they come in and try and get me? So what are they going to do when you allow actual men into the same bathroom as the women? Are they still? I'm going to be interested to see, will they still use that excuse that they're afraid of just the average man just as much as they're afraid of the transgender community?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, because I personally had an experience. I was at Owens Mills Mall. I had used the restroom. I was washed my hands, and I hope I'm saying this right, two lesbian girls came into the men's bathroom. And you know, I'm an ex-Marine, I'm a tough fella, but I was like, oh my, I was a little frightened there because I didn't expect that. And so when that happens to people, people just get alarmed, and because they're not expecting that. So, you know, this gives an opportunity for because they were young, for them to respect one another's restrooms. You know, so this is a good issue that's coming up because, again, this is public, and this is all about public accommodations. So we want everybody to be safe and be respectful so that problems won't occur.
Just so people understand, it's not just in the straight community that this happens. This has actually happened in the gay community. And I want to make this point real quick because even when I talk to people about issues and stuff, people automatically assume that as transgender, we're covered automatically under these acts, under the Non-Discrimination Act, under the hate crime law, under all that kind of stuff. They think automatically we're in there. They don't realize we're not. A lot of the gay people think we're automatically lumped with them. We're on the tail end of any bill that they get put through. No, we're not. We're still not listed legitimately along with any of them. That's why we have to do this as the trans community itself, by itself on its own, because we've been left out there on our own by people. The biggest gay bar in Baltimore, Club Hippo. I'm friends with the owner, the managers, everybody. In there one night, a trans man who is born with female genitalia but feels as though they're a male, uses the men's room. Security from the Hippo goes into the bathroom and pulls him out and tells him he can't go in there. I've been going into the Hippo, I won't say how long because then they'll know I was underage when I was going in there. But no one's ever said anything to me. Maybe because they know me, whatever the case may be. But even in a gay bar itself, a trans man, a trans person wasn't allowed to use the restroom of, you know, the gender that they identify with. It's hard. It's really hard because we get it not just from the straight community, but from the gay community as well. I will give Chuck, the owner, and Roger, love you guys both, credit. What they did is they turned the bathrooms on the saloon side into both of those bathrooms are now unisex bathrooms to accommodate us.
And that solved a lot of issues right there.
Yes.
Now, let me piggyback on that with you because let me tell you, see, this is why we gotta have public accommodations in the bill and put a bathroom clause in it. Because you put public accommodations in the bill and leave bathroom
leave something out.
Right, but they'll find a way to say that we don't want them in the bathroom with us.
It needs to be very specific. The bill needs to be very specific.
Exactly. And the bill in Baltimore says that clubs or any place of public accommodation has the discretion, and it's not unlawful for them to have just male and female bathrooms. But with a leg in the door, because they have to serve us, publicly accommodate us, because it's a nightclub, we had a chance to go and talk to them to get them to do the unisex bathrooms. But if Baltimore never had public accommodations in it, guess what? You wouldn't have a leg to stand on. You couldn't get in there to talk to them because they said, we don't have to serve you in the first place.
Right.
What are you in here talking about our bathrooms for?
Well, that's it. It's all about getting the foot in the door. It's just like the beating of Chrissy Polis has brought us all here. So we've got our foot in the door. Here's an opening for us to take what's already been made public throughout the entire country.
Right.
I have friends in California that were calling me because
That's
they know
right.
I live in Maryland. Girl, I just saw the video. So it's going nationwide. So this has brought attention. So this is our chance. This is our chance right here to be able to step forward and say, we're here. We're not going anywhere. You guys need to find a better way to deal with us.
Right, because I'm sure the transgender community, when they see the show, they're going to be so appreciative of you all being spokespersons for that community. And I want to also say that in the transgender community, I'm understanding that you all are discriminated with housing, jobs. Is that correct?
Absolutely. If we have a job, we can be fired from a job. We can be discriminated against. We'll be harassed by people. There's no law in place to protect us. Again, I stress, people think we're automatically covered by laws that are in place. Transgenders are not covered by these laws in the state of Maryland.
And I understand also that police will harass transgender persons just by walking in various communities. Can you speak on that?
Working with Trans United, we do a lot of outreach in the community, and there's been times where we weren't in the community like prostituting or anything, but they just pulled us over just because we looked like we were transgender, and what are we doing? We can throw you in jail. So it does happen because people they'll put you up just to put you up and say sir, he, just because they feel like they have the power to do that.
So basically just disrespecting you as a human being. Hey, listen, we're going to take a break, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Don't move.
Right back, Baltimore.
Hey, it's on Talk Show, and we're back. And today's show topic is violence against the transgender community. And again, I'm here today with my special co-host, Sandy Rawls. Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, you want to introduce our new guest?
This is Miss LeClaire, just joined us. Denise LeClaire, who just joined us. Again, Donna and Sandy Rawls, Aeon Farr, and Daisha Perez. Deja Lopez, right? Deja.
Let's get that name right.
Get your name right. Go ahead. That can be cut out.
Deja's good.
Deja. Okay, and Deja here with us on the set of It's On. So I guess we're going to continue, John, and talking about the subject, violence against the transgender community. Yes. Denise, since you joined us, I'm going to start off with you, asking you the question. What do you think about this McDonald's incident? Do you think it sparked positive attention or positive conversation around gender identity discrimination?
Well, I think it started the conversation. It's something that people tend to not want to address. Thinking about gender identity seems to make people uncomfortable, and so they seem to avoid it. And this was such an outrageous incident that people couldn't help but talk about it. And it's really unfortunate what happened, but it has the potential to have something good come out of it if it does raise some awareness around these issues, because it's certainly not an isolated incident. These things happen all the time, really every day, and the vast majority of times they go unnoticed and unreported.
Is that right? It happens all the time?
It happens constantly.
Really? See, this is the incident, and you all, I'll say this, that the first I've heard of an incident where a transgender person was beaten up just for being a transgender person. See, this is where the community, okay.
This is the first time that anybody ever got it on camera.
That's the first time.
This is kind of our Rodney King moment.
You know what? So here's the thing. The guy got fired from McDonald's. I was really upset with him for just standing there recording this while this girl was getting beaten. He was laughing and making fun of her. But at the same time, I want to look in the camera and personally thank you, because now you have given us a platform. So you actually did us more good than harm. So I really appreciate it personally, from me to you.
Yeah, but like she was saying, it just happened to be recorded this time. Stuff like this happens every day. Just stepping out of your house and being trans, you really have to think, where can I go so I won't get the chances of a situation like this happening are slim. Like when I go to the mall or when I go somewhere, most times I'm able to pass. But sometimes when you go to places where people know you, or you don't know who's going to tell somebody, oh, that used to be a man, and how people will react, because it happens every day. All you have to do is just tell the wrong person, or the wrong person gets the information, and it can turn into a situation like that. And since it probably won't be a camera there, people will feel like they can do whatever they do, and it'll never get reported or never get the attention that it needs.
At the same time, if a guy's out like looking for a chick, and he meets you, and you're a transgender person, and he finds out that you're not a real, you're not 100% woman, that he thought. You follow me? Mm-hmm. Then also it would incite some violence. I've heard of that.
Well, let me say this.
Yes.
We are 100% woman.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
And
I'm still learning.
I know. That's why we ain't jumped on you, because we know you're still learning. That's the idea. Yeah, it's like the whole idea of this is to educate the public. This is community relations for us, and we thank you so much for having us on again. But yeah, again, we're 100% woman, and when men come on to us, they see something they like. Okay, and then when they find out that we're trans women in some kind of way, they find out, they feel as though that their manhood is being checked. Okay. Because when you go on the internet or you go a lot of places, you see trans women with male genitalia performing. Okay. So that's, this is one of the things that they see. I've talked to a couple of guys about this, and this is one of the things they see, and they're thinking about you having a relationship in a gay way, because a lot of guys still think that we're gay people. So exactly. So they don't see a woman in a sense. They see, oh, this is a guy. No, we're women. And they think that, the first thing coming in their mind, they're picturing a gay guy. That's not the question. That's not the issue here. That's not the issue at all.
Okay.
And I would go one step further and say that the vast majority of times people actually seek us out because we're trans in that respect.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine says there's no such thing as a straight man unless his friends are around. I think that the vast majority of times they seek us out because we're trans, and then afterwards they feel like, oh my God, what if my friends find out, or what if somebody finds out? And it's not that they didn't know, it's not that they suddenly discovered it, it's that all of a sudden that they don't want their manhood to be questioned. And and in regards to how prevalent this is, on average in the United States, a trans woman is murdered every 2 weeks.
Are you serious?
Every 2 weeks, there's over 25 murders a year. And so this one, by comparison, she survived, and so this is relatively minor. The incidents like this really do happen every day, and then, a couple times a month, one of us is actually murdered. And so we don't feel safe to go to the police, because a lot of times the police are the ones who we're in danger from. There was a case in Philadelphia a few years ago, Duana Johnson, and she was arrested, and she was beaten up in police custody, and the police had the video, and it clearly showed her being beaten senseless by the police. And the man was just sentenced yesterday to 2 years for beating her.
Are you serious?
Officer, and I think he actually plea bargained to like a tax evasion charge. And the other thing is with her, 6 months later, she was given a ride by the Philadelphia police, and she was never seen again alive, and she was found murdered like the next day. And the last people to see her alive were the Philadelphia police, and that's never been solved. There's no suspects in that case whatsoever.
Wow. That's sad to hear. That's just sad to hear.
The case that you're talking about, you kind of mixed up two of them. Just to clarify, it was one of my girlfriend was the one that was in the custody of the police and then never seen again after that. She was drunk, and they walked her out of the bar, left her. She was, squatted down. The police picked her up, who the police in Philadelphia were then very well known for harassing the girls. And they picked her up, put her in the car. She was later found on 15th and Walnut, dead, after being in a police car. So how do you go from you're in police custody, the police have been instructed on where she lives and told where to take her, and she doesn't arrive at her destination? This stuff happens constantly.
Well, again, this situation that happened at McDonald's is bringing light to this entire community, and let's respect these folks. Why? They're some of your family members, your friends. These are all still God's children. How many of you are Christians, I wonder?
I'm Baptist.
There you go. So again, my point exactly, just like you, everybody's different. And we have to respect them. You should, if you are a Christian, if you respect yourself, you need to respect each and every one that has life. That's right. You follow me? How do you feel about that?
I'm Universalist Unitarian, and they are the most accepting, wonderful group of people on the face of the earth.
Yeah, because I've never seen where a transgender person perpetrated violence to anybody. I mean, I just haven't. Because I've only heard of you all basically from this incident that occurred because you all, Chrissy was being beaten. No, that's wrong. And, again, there's an issue that I'm concerned about. Why was this kid so angry? Yes. Because we want to see her get some help as opposed to just jail time. Because what I don't want is for other young people to engage in maybe at the mall or restroom with a transgender or gay person or whatever, and purposely beat them up. Well, then guess what? Then they may be charged with the 10-year sentence for for hate crimes. See, so a lot of young people need to be educated as well because kids go out and say, "Hey man, the person there." No, respect those persons. They're just different. They're just not like you. But believe me, they love and respect you, so you can love them and respect them back. Because if you mess with them, let's face it, you may get 10 years in jail for a hate crime. You follow me? And you don't want. And if you go to jail for 10 years, you might turn out to be gay. Go ahead.
You mean they may come out the closet because you can't turn gay. You're born gay.
Well, okay.
So yeah, you're learning. You're learning.
I'm learning.
But just let me piggyback on that issue
Please
about
do.
these two young ladies. When unfortunately they're going to be getting some time. If they do get time, we want them to get counseling. Yes. We want them to get some psychiatry. We want them to get some therapy. We want them to get some anger management. We want them to realize that you don't have to be that angry to live in the world. Right. You know what I mean? And to respect and love all people. Even if you don't love me or respect me, you don't like me, but you need to know that you don't have a right to step on the rights and liberties of someone else. This is a human rights issue. That's right. It's totally a human rights issue. I'm a human being. I deserve to be and exist just like you do. Okay, as long as I'm not stealing your money out of your bank account, or I'm not stealing your money out of your pocket, or stealing food out of your house, or doing anything, or breaking in your house, anything, you should leave me be. Leave me alone.
Respect. It's respect.
That's all it is.
That's exactly what it is. And I guess we have to preach forgiveness and stuff just as the churches will do and all that. And as hard as it is to watch that video and then say, you know what, these girls are young, I want somebody to take a look at the parents, the family members of these girls. Who is it that raised them this way, that brought them up to feel? Hatred is a learned behavior. Right. You're not born with it, you're taught it. So somewhere along the line, somebody taught these people how to hate someone just because of who they are.
It's becoming a culture, Daisha. It really is. To me, it seems as though that it's becoming a culture where people are definitely looking for someone to demean because somebody demeaned them. Abuse begots abuse. If you've been abused all your life as a child, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to grow up and you're going to, probably abuse somebody to justify that particular type of love that you received, even though it's abuse, but it was probably perceived as love as a child, and that type of love to somebody else. And this has to stop. We have to. The education piece has to be real big. Yes, it has to be real big. It has to not only just educating people about trans people. We got to get people involved in understanding themselves and loving themselves. If you can't understand yourself and love yourself, then how in the world are you going to love somebody else and understand who they are? So that's why we have to bring people to the table, and we need incentive programs to sit folks down, parents down who don't understand their trans youth, who don't understand trans people, because you got a lot of trans youth that's in the street right now that face. They are totally at risk for this type of behavior towards them because they have nowhere else to go. They're on the street. So they're vulnerable people from the jump. And then you have, parents who just don't want them home. They just don't want them home because they're worried about what the neighbors are going to say down the street. So it's a wrong issue all the way around the board.
Yeah, because I found that a lot of parents just just that child, when they find the child is becoming lesbian, gay, or whatever, and just actually put them out. And but you have to remember, parents, that was the same child that you carried for 9 months. You said you were loved. So again, people are different, and it's you ask God, because I don't know why, but they are, and we've got to love people because they're human beings.
Right, John. Let me ask this question real quick. I just want to get everybody's opinion on the verdict that came down yesterday. From the state's attorney's office. They were now charging the young ladies with a hate crime. How do you feel about that, Denise?
I mean, I think that it is a hate crime. It seems that way to me, but it's a tragedy all the way around. Like we were saying, these young women have thrown their lives away for nothing, for hatred. And it's as much of a tragedy for them as it is for Chrissy, because everybody's lives are going to be forever changed because of this incident, and not in a good way. And it's just, we need more education around this.
Right.
But I think it seemed like a hate crime from what we could see. I think the grand jury probably had more evidence, and so they were in a better position to make that judgment. But it seems appropriate, but very sad.
Right. So Donna, how do you feel about that?
I'm going to have
The
to
verdict.
trust our justice system at this point. I believe that there was hate crime involved, but if there was additional time on their charges, on their sentence, I would rather see it being used in some kind of therapy or community service involved with the community that they the crime was perpetuated against.
Right, exactly.
They've got to find out who we are.
Right.
I blame their parents. I blame the churches for this all happening. That's where it's all starting.
Okay. All right. Well, Deja, how do you feel about it?
I definitely agree with the hate crime. The moment I saw it, I instantly said they need to charge these two with a hate crime. I mean, anybody with 2 eyes who watched this could see that this was a hate crime. A lot of people wanted to turn it racial. This one wasn't racial to me. This was not racial. This was not about a white girl walking into a bathroom. This was about a transgender person walking into the bathroom. So it wasn't racial. And all the blogs, people were going back and forth with racial names and this and that and the other. And, although it's a similar dynamic, racism versus, the discrimination against us. If you look at it, it's basically the same thing. It's people that were ignorant. They didn't have the knowledge as to who people are and, et cetera, et cetera. And what you said about you blame the churches, I absolutely agree. For the people that use faith as an excuse to discriminate, demean, look down on, or do anything to anybody, you really think that's the word of God? No. I see these, like you said earlier about these young kids, once their parents find out who they are, they throw them out. And they use their faith in God as the reason. Oh, you're against God. Honey, how can you possibly have a faith in God that you believe God would throw his child out onto the street because of who they are? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But you want to sit in church on Sunday and praise the Lord, and on Monday throw your kid into the street. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's strong, because that's a strong message, because a lot of parents just received it because they did that to their child.
I just experienced it. My best friend's mother in Philadelphia is 87 years old. She woke up the other morning and couldn't breathe. I was at a friend's house. My best friend called me. I raced to the hospital with her. We're at the hospital with her. Her niece, my best friend's niece, shows up. She's Muslim. She shows up with the Muslim wrap, and she's got this long dress on. She sits there. She talks to everybody else in the room but me and my best friend. Mind you, this is her niece. When everybody else leaves, the niece gets up to say bye to the grandmother who's laying in the hospital bed. This woman's like a second mother to me. I love my own mother. I have a wonderful mother, so not trying to replace her. But the girl says bye to her. So my best friend says, "You're not going to say bye to me?" The girl turns around, looks at us. She said, "Hell no. I don't condone that shit." Wow. We were like, wait a minute. You don't condone what? She said, "It's a disgrace. You should kill yourselves." I said, "Oh, really? You believe that's what Islam teaches? You believe that's what the teachings of Islam is all about?" She told us we should kill ourselves, and then actually threatened me with a gun. And said if her son was homosexual, she would stand on top of a hill and throw him off of it.
Oh, that's evil.
It's in every race, it's in every religion, it's in everywhere.
Wait.
But it's not in the Bible. I actually just spoke at the United Church of Christ on Sunday and addressed the whole congregation about these issues. And this is not what the Bible preaches. I mean, there's a passage where Jesus says, "Whatever is within you, bring it forth, and it will save you." And if you do not bring it forth, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And this is us living our lives honestly. This is us being true to ourselves and being true to our spirit. You know, people talk about nature and nurture and what caused this, and I just look at it as it's our spirit. This is who I am at our most inner being. And everything else is much less important than that. You know, and there's nowhere in the Bible where it says that you should hate certain groups of people. It's just not in there.
Jesus never hated. Jesus never hated anyone. So, Aeon, I want to get Aeon's opinion. I want to get Aeon's opinion real quick on this. How do you feel about the verdict that just came down? Hate crimes verdict.
Like everybody else, I do feel like it was a hate crime, but I hope for the girls that they were charged, I hope that they're able to get the help that they need in the judicial system, and they're just not thrown away. And then when their date comes up, they're released, and you know they're still the same person they was coming out going in. I feel like with the whole situation, I feel like people that were against the situation, they missed the whole point, because like I said, I've been reading the blogs and people, well, she didn't belong in there, and if I found out she was in there, I would have hit her, but I wouldn't have did that. You shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody. You shouldn't hate somebody to the point where you want to hurt them or attack them. Though you might not understand, you might feel uncomfortable, it still doesn't give you the right to put your hands on somebody and hurt somebody just because you can't deal with, how they are. You shouldn't put your hands, you shouldn't be in a position to, forever change somebody's life like that. That's not right.
And change their own. They changed their own too.
No, okay, so to move forward a little bit, just to change the subject a little bit, away from necessarily violence against trans people. What about family structure? I heard you say something about family. So I want to hit on that a little bit more, because people who view this show, I know a lot of mothers and the fathers view this show. And I want them to look at us sitting here and take us very serious when I say this. We could be one of your children. We could be one of their children out there, one of your viewers' children. Mm-hmm. And if your child came to you and told you that they didn't feel right, they feel like they were in the opposite sex in which they were born, they identify with that sex more, what would you do? I want you to ask yourself that question while you're viewing this show right now, and I figure I want to ask it to you now before the show go off. I want you to ask yourself, what would you do if your child came to you and said, Mommy, Daddy, I'm a transsexual or I'm a transgender person? I want to know, what would you do?
For the parents, please, if your child ever does ask you that, do some research. Just look it up before you say, oh, no, not my child, not my child. And then if you're going to take your child to a psychiatrist or psychologist, please do research on that doctor and make sure that doctor is familiar in this field.
In my church, over the past year, I have, at the end of service, 3 times been approached by parents say, I have an 8-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, I have a 12-year-old child. This is not a phase. Who do I turn to? I've got to support my child. And God bless those parents. God bless those parents that are coming to me and asking those questions so I can give them the support that they need. There are, for you parents out there that are facing that, we do have resources for you. There are groups of people there to support you. Trans Youth Family Allies
and my organization
and Denise's organization. We have resources for you to support your children.
I get lots of calls from parents. It happens very frequently, and people are very frustrated because they don't know. I know that for myself, because of all the hatred that I heard around me, I believed that God hated me. I thought that I had been rejected by God because I could feel that when I was at church. I could feel it at school. I could feel it from society all around me, and so I felt like I was cursed. And there's just no need for people to feel that way. There are so many transgender people in this country. There's probably 1 million or more transgender people in the United States alone, and it's happened. There have been transgender people in all different times, in all different countries. My organization has members in Australia, in South Africa, in Japan. Wow. It's not something that you did. It's not something that's wrong with your child. It's just who your child is, and you just need to see your child as beautiful, just like any other child, and love them for their difference.
Well, 1 sec. Can you give your information out?
Sure. The organization that I work for is the International Foundation for Gender Education. We're a nonprofit that's been around since the 70s doing this kind of outreach. You can find us on the internet at www.ifge.org, or you can call our hotline at 202-207-8364, and we can find you some local resources and doctors and support groups so you can get the support that you need so that everybody comes out of this in better shape.
Right. So, well, let me give you also the information to get to Trans United. Trans United is a community-based program, and what we do is offer vital resources to the transgender community, like GED tutoring, violent act support, parenting support, relocation. If you need to be relocated because you feel like you're being harassed or somebody's trying to hurt you because you're transgender, we can get you relocated through the Witness Protection Program down at the state's attorney's office, and nobody will know where you at, but the people downtown. And we have, we're trying to open up a drop-in center and transitional housing unit. But you can reach us by trans.united@yahoo.com, or you can call me at 443-447-3238 and ask for Sandy Rawls. And we're open from 1 to 7:30.
Can you give your number again? It's kind of fast.
Okay, 443-447-3238. Okay, now having said that, I want to get to Aon and get your answer on what should parents do if their child come to them and tell them that they feel like they need to identify, in the opposite sex that they were born.
If you truly love your child and you truly have unconditional love for your child, like you say you do not put them out in the streets. You don't just kick them out to the world with
regardless
just nothing. So if you really love you, because a lot of parents say, "Oh, I have unconditional love for you," but if you're like this, if you're gay, if you're trans, you can't live here. You can't be my child anymore. That's not unconditional love. That's not the unconditional love that your child would still have for you, even if you were to do that to your child. So you really just have. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that. You as a parent, you're not going to accept it or be educated about it right in that day or in that time. But love your child and love your child through it, and try to understand where your child is coming from. Because a lot of parents, they come up thinking the way that they want to think, not understanding that their child might not necessarily have that same mind. Just because you raise somebody or somebody's under your care doesn't mean is going to affect how they come out. Everybody's different. Mm-hmm. So my thing is just to have unconditional love for your child, because there's so many transgender people here out in the streets who were kicked out at like 10 or 13, at those young ages, because their parents just want to shut the door and turn their backs on their children when they should have been there for them. And this is why we have to do all these vigils and all these funerals, because these kids were killed because they didn't have anywhere to go to.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at the transgender community in a different perspective. Number one, that they're human beings, and that they love, and that they love you. Love them back, respect them, because we do not want what happened at that McDonald's to ever happen again. The summertime is coming. There are many events. Let's respect one another. These folks are not out to hurt you, so why do you need to hurt them? Love yourself. If you love yourself, you can love everyone else.
That's right.
So today, again, we want to thank you all for coming on the show and expressing and educating the community at large, because we never, ever want to see these incidents happen again. And I do wish that you get all the accommodations that you need so that you be well protected. And parents, I'm asking you to love your children. It doesn't matter what they become. That's your child. Love your child. And I'm asking everybody that having issues of this situation to pray 5 times a day for 30 seconds for peace and unity and love.
That's right.
That's right. Pray 30 seconds 5 times a day, because there needs to be a healing a godly healing. I am here not to condemn anyone, but I'm here to let everybody know I love and respect everybody.
That's right.
And that's what I want you to do. People are different. I'm different. You're different. But I respect you. Respect me and respect everybody else so that love can continue. And again, I thank all of you so much. And this community is going to be stronger. It's going to be better. And you're going to get the respect you deserve as human beings. Right. And I'm asking those parents, very important, to love your children. Love your children. Hey, thanks for peeping and watching again. Much love and respect to each and every one of you. And just remember, respect. If you respect yourself and love yourself, you respect and love everybody else.
That's right.
Peace, and we're out.
Out.
And thank you, Sandy, for being my
It's on.
co-host.
No problem.
Yay!
It's on.
It's on, y'all. All right.